What's going on, y'all? You can't see it on camera, but my forehead is breaking the fuck out. Just piss me off, dude. Pissing me the fuck off. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Also got an issue with Elgato Wavelink where it will just open itself out of nowhere. And Dennis, what's up? If you know anything about Mac, if an app is open, is like on the front. Thank you, Niku. Niku Nicole. Thank you. What's up? If you're on Mac and an app is like open in the front, it will take focus, meaning all your inputs will relate to that window now. And it's like you'll be typing something, and then all of a sudden, app pops up. Niku, okay. Highly annoying. I think it's an Apple issue though. I think there's something in the Mac firmware that's like fucking with it. Ugh, dude, my throat is like, I was recording something earlier. My throat is a little fucked up. It's so hot. Oh my goodness, man. God. GK, what's up, man? I guess I'll get into when we get into it. See, it's definitely the arcade supremacy is definitely a thing, right? That's definitely it's a movement. It's a movement. Let's call it a movement. It's not really a trend, but it's a movement. Oh yeah, I love Bonanza. Good game. Y'all Americans with your fucking air conditioning, man. Y'all killing me. I do agree with you, GK. It's not a trend yet, but like maybe I think a couple more years of roguelite will be able to market arcade design. Like I was already thinking I'll market my next game with like no progression, no upgrades, fucking no branching paths. That's for shit. Right, hey, what's up? I mean, that was the Wanted Dead thing, right? Where there was like a legendary dev diary for Wanted Dead where they talk about like, yeah, this game really harkens back to the 6th generation consoles. Here's our skill tree. So far. Okay, y'all. Let me get into personal updates, I suppose. I've been making a lot of progress on my next video. So I teased the Resident Evil Mercenaries analysis. That's on hold for now, because I had inspiration strike for another thing. And it's closer to what I did with the Shadow of the Colossus video, where it's like sort of a thematic kind of analysis. It's honestly even more thematic than the Shadow video. It's like even less focused on the gameplay, but like I think I moved the video with the script I've been moving in a very general direction where it's very generally applicable to game design. So I'm hoping that will be cool. Y'all, what's up? I like Electric Underground. Sometimes I really... Where the fuck is the thing not working? I think some mistakes are a little questionable. I will say, there was a thing on the timeline the other day where Celia Wagger, who I really respect, she got into like an argument with somebody else. And in the process, she absolutely eviscerated Electric Underground with like facts and logic. It was so awesome. like the thing, I would love to collab with Mark at some point, right? I would love to do something with him. I think he's a I think he does a lot of great work. I do think his, like, reactionary tendencies... I don't even think he's a reactionary. I don't even think he's a conservative or anything, yeah? But, like, he has this, like... It is very childish to still be this upset about IGN. Yeah. Like, I think there's a way you can materially criticize the fabric of mainstream reviews. No, I'm not gonna link it. I don't want to put people on blast. There's a way to materially criticize game reviews, which I often do, without doing like this tired, oh, IGN bad, yeah, and like getting upset over scores that are like literally 20 years old. Yeah. I'm thinking the same. I think we will reach a point where people get so tired of what's going on that we get the inevitable counterculture. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm not ready. I'm not anywhere near ready to like launch or promote my next game, right? I'm not even sure what my next game will be. I think the thing I was recently working on, I'll put that on hold for a little bit. There's like another thing that's sort of another angle where inspiration kind of struck. But I think once I am ready, the world will also be ready for no progression. And what's up? Fire. Okay, so if you don't know, I have a second channel called Ikeda After Dark. That's for stream highlights and unstructured thoughts. Been uploading pretty regularly, so if you can't catch the streams when they happen, and if you if the VODs are just way too dense for you to check out, this is where all the like most interesting bits land, I want to say, and I do condense them down pretty good. I think I found a good formula. In the coming days, I'll probably have a video on the Star Fox discourse, which I covered on the last stream. Also on Ubusuna, on what's going on with that. There was like some really interesting shit there, actually. Oh god. Oh fuck. I moved my capture card 2 centimeters and Let's Pray comes back. Hey, Fritos, what's up, man? Oh god. Blaming IGN for God Hand. Oh fuck. Is idiotic because they conversely loved Okami. Thing was their Guardians of the Bomb. Yeah. There you go. See, I think there is a take I can workshop there where like, okay, look at a game like Dark Souls, right? Look at how slowly like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, that self-design slowly became a dominant cultural force, right? Now, these games were relative critical darlings, right? But they're not the highest rated games of their respective years, right? Like, surely this is not the highest rated game of 2009. Surely it's not. So where did the institutional power for something like Dark Souls come from? I think it is... Oh, wow. Xbox was good. I think it is legitimately... What the hell? Oh, wait, it's a Torius. Oh. I mean, what I remember, genuinely, is... Why is Dark Souls 2... That's so funny, okay. This is Dark Souls 1, man. Yeah, definitely. See, I'm surprised. I expected the score to be higher, right? So clearly, not the highest rated game of 2011 either. And clearly is the dominant fucking game, right? And I remember around this time, like 2012, 2013-ish, like in game design circles, Dark Souls was insanely fucking popular. Like every game designer was citing it. Extra credits, Jonathan Blow, Phil Fish. Massively fucking popular. It's much more like the trickle down effect of this sort of thing is much more complex than, oh my god, IGN gave it 10. And I'm thinking especially in the arcade supremacy bubble. My girlfriend Yulia, she calls them the action justice warriors. Like, I think they're seeing a high in sort of discourse right now. They see they're getting a lot of this attention by being very publicly abrasive. And they think, oh my god, we're building a movement, right? We're building a fucking movement. I don't think it's gonna get much bigger than it is. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get much bigger than it is just by screaming at people all day. Yeah. So, yeah. Lands of Pross, what's up? I think he cares about game design. But I think he can't help himself, yeah. I'm excited for Mina, actually, now that I know that it's not a Metroidvania, really, with progression gates so far. Can you really counterculture if GameSpot gives you GOTY? You talking about Zolt? I think you can be. I don't think that was like a hip opinion back then, yeah. And like, I mean, 2009, I remember, dude, I was like heavily watching game trailers on IGN back then. And in 2009, I followed the Game of the Year rollout in real time, basically. I was already hip to Demon's Souls. I imported it from America late 2009. I was already hip to it. I was like, oh, this game is fucking awesome. I was pretty early. I was pretty fucking early.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
And I remember the final top 2 came down to Modern Warfare 2 and Uncharted 2 for game trailers. I think if you were a games magazine and you were picking Demon's Souls back then, you were kind of freaky with it, yeah? You were kind of nasty with it. The correct mentality is to watch reviews purely for entertainment. The people that get mad at the electronic are equally as charged. Yeah. See, GK, you were kind of playing with fire with that one take where you're like, you don't. I think what you said is like, you phrase it, you don't care about game reviews, right? The thing is, I watched your stream on it later, and I think you specifically meant like mainstream, like industry reviews, right? And I think that is, I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact arguments anymore, but I do agree with you that like out of that system, just there will never be anything good sort of coming out of it. You kind of just have to give people time to like sit on a game and like extract all the useful shit about it. Ryan Stevens from Game Trailers Hyped Up Demons, hell yeah. Mia looks really good now, and I trust Yacht Club because they were willing to experiment a lot even within the shovel framework. Yeah. Kevin Fruit, what's up? Journalistic reviews. Did people know FromSoft back then? They must have been known as the Armored Core guys, right? Yeah, Armored Core consistently got really bad reviews, actually. So clearly FromSoft, they did not... They just didn't have the status that they have now, you know, where, okay, if FromSoft is on the label, you're paying fucking attention. You know? It was not like that. Now, I will say, I mean, the reasons why something like Armored Core 6, for example, is much better received than, let's say, an older Armored Core, like 3 or Nexus or 5 or Verdict Day, Sunlight or 4 Answer, are very complex. I don't think it's as simple as, oh, From Software is a brand now. However, From Software being a brand, it does soften your lens a little bit, right? Like, because you know From Software make good games, so when you go into 6, you're like, okay, even if it's a little abrasive, I'm gonna give it a shot, right? That definitely helps, yeah. Solid reviews, but the discussion is much more positive. I already feel like it's definitely. Ooh. See, with the Yoshi game, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, it seems like very puzzle centric, right? Maybe I would like it. I did not really care about Woolly World, to be honest with you. I need to give Crafter World a shot. That seems kind of fun. Also, I need to play that Kirby game. Now that's 60 on the Switch 2. Audius, what's up? What's up, man? Salty Cloud, what's up? How are you coping with the heat? I am barely coping. I do not have AC. No, I do not have AC. It's over for me. Wow, what the hell? We're at 36 viewers on YouTube. How does that happen? Hello, everybody. Okay, we're gonna do quick news. I don't think there's anything like super worthy of like recording for the second channel. But I want to draw your attention to a couple things. Again, this is my second channel. Subscribe to it if you have. Main channel. The main channel is where you're watching this right now live, and it's for scripted videos. Yeah. Mintex, what's up? Crafter will double down on exploration. Terrible. Oh shit. Comparison of Jeff Keighley. Oh, it's so fire. It's so fire. Guys, if you... this is pathetic. I know this is pathetic, guys, but like, if you can leave the Twitch stream running on a separate tab, that would help me. Cause like, for those who don't know, if you get consistently high views on Twitch, you will eventually reach partner status, and that would help me. So you're free to watch on YouTube, but like, if you just let the Twitch run on a separate tab, if you're on your desktop anyway, yeah, it doesn't hurt. What up, the shroom? What's up, man? I'm hot. I'm very, very hot. It's very, very uncomfortable. Especially, I got the fucking streamer light, red goner.
So please.
Justified crash out?
Dude, I keep forgetting to change my freaking stream alerts. This one's okay, but I need to change the sub alert. I think reviews in the journalistic space are useless for discussion as a tool for people to find out if they should buy a game or whatever. It's harmless. Yeah, but not the Don way reviews are used. See, I mean, my really nasty take, my really fucking nasty take, is that I don't want anybody to lose their job. I think it's horrible that independent media is like slowly dying. Obviously, it's not good for anybody. The work was never that great. I'm sorry, I know it's horrible to say that, but like, I know on an ideological level, I need to be upset that it's happening, but like, I'm like, I didn't read IGN anyway. Like, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I will loop the VOD all night like Justin Bieber's doing. Fire. Better coded settings, but we get emotes. I need Yulia to like be my emote slave, like make some emotes for me. They're trying their best giving us. I think it's like, even if you're writing for normies, right? If all you're doing is like play every game that comes out for 5 hours max and then move on, I feel like that's not even reflective of the normie experience, you know? It's useless from a critical standpoint, because like you're not really developing a great palette, and it's also not actually what normies like really, how normies really think about games, yeah. Okay. So guys, most important news of the day: fuck Mina the Hollower, fuck James Bond. Tetris Grandmaster 4 is finally coming out on console, specifically the Nintendo Switch. Dude, this is what I mean. This is what the fucking Elgato window just opens itself for no fucking reason. So I've talked about TGM. Oops, let me do that. I've talked about TGM like a bunch of times on my channels. No, it's coming out everywhere. They announced the price for Japan. They didn't announce the price yet for other territories, but so it's gonna be 2,800 yen, which is quite a bit cheaper than it was on Steam. And they're actually adjusting the Steam version as well. From there, we can extrapolate as probably... So, I think it's like 35 on Steam right now. I can check, actually. I think it's like 35 on Steam. But it's gonna be quite a bit cheaper than it was. It's probably gonna be closer to like 25. Yeah, I paid the full fat $34. Oh my god, why can I not move the freaking window? Yeah, there you go. It's been only on Windows, and like I've played this game like a substantial amount. You know, I cleared the master mode at least once. Ziggy, what's up, man? Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. That's insane. So, for those who don't know TGM, the TGM series, this is a Tetris sub-series by The Legends Arika. You know them for Street Fighter EX, Fighting EX Lair. They also did Endless Ocean on the Wii. They're low-key one of the most go-to developers. ZenZ, what's up? And the special thing about TGM, it's basically two things, right? So, number one, it's a speed-focused Tetris. It's a Tetris variant where the main mode has a line limit, an ever-expanding line limit that goes all the way up to 999. And as you go, obviously the parameters of the game change, right? And it's not just, oh, the game gets faster. They're very particular with how they tweak it. For example, like the gravity sometimes gets faster, but sometimes also gets slower, right? But then, for example, another thing that can change is like the little animation you get when you get a clear, that can also change in length, right? So they play with that. They're super, super hands-on with that sort of shit. And the idea is to get to the end. Even getting to the end is insanely challenging in all of these games. But then obviously the big thing is to like do it as fast as possible, right? And there's like a lot of, and this is like the second thing, just the fundamental rules of TGM are a little different from regular Tetris. The way the randomization works is very different. It's sort of an in-between between like the completely random shit of like super old versions and the, you may know this like, this so-called bag system in modern Tetris variants where they basically randomize. There's like 7 pieces total in Tetris, right? So they will always give you all 7 pieces in order, right? And then the order that they give you the pieces in is randomized. But you will never get, like in that sequence of 7, you will not see the same piece twice, right? It will all be 7 unique pieces. That's how modern Tetris kind of works, and it basically guarantees, yeah, within 7 moves, you'll definitely get whatever you're looking for, right? In TGM, it's like way more complicated, where like they do multiple kind of RNG rolls. And it's, again, it's this super intricate, weird system. The other big thing is just how the gravity in general works, because this is a little hard to explain, but imagine you have this hole here, right? And now imagine this L piece. No, it's a J piece, I'm an idiot. This J piece. Imagine it was like... Actually, this doesn't work. Okay, imagine this were an L piece, right? So, like this. Rather than this way. Basically just inverted. And imagine it's like... It's like flipped on its sides with the extruding part kind of down here, right? It can get caught in the little hooks like that, right? Even though there's a lock delay, even though the pieces don't instantly snap to the floor, they can't just easily rotate back up, right? So it is a very physical like sensation of gravity where you gradually move pieces down, sort of in the stair-stepping pattern. That's why a lot of the strategy of TGM, you'll see people like they build sort of a pyramid. And rather than like start all the way to the left and then go gradually down like this, which is like how you usually play Tetris, they build like a pyramid so that they can slide the piece off gradually in either direction. And if you fuck it up, you will get caught and it will just be insane, right? And there's like this idea of wall kicks where the direction that you rotate in matters, right? If you like, let's say I have an eyepiece sort of caught here like this, right? In modern Tetris, let's say it's like lying flat like that. In modern Tetris, I could just rotate any direction and I would be able to like let the eyepiece sort of stand up, right? But in TGM, you have to rotate. In this scenario, you would have to rotate clockwise specifically, and then that would allow it to slide down here, right? The other way does not work. It is insanely technical. It is so crazy. And like the speed and like some of the, in this game, especially in TGM4, they do all this, they have this crazy new mechanic where like, at certain levels, the screen like freezes and you can't get clears, sort of below the freeze line. It is nuts. Maybe I should have recorded this actually. But yeah. This is, this game is not a one-to-one replacement for like, so I mean, you know, from the title you can tell, okay, it's the fourth one, but then there's like, obviously a really legendary one is Tap, TGM Tap, the Absolute Plus, Grandmaster 2. They do play differently enough that they're all like still uniquely valuable. However, this is like one of the most fully featured versions with a really fucking high skill ceiling. I will say the main mode is much easier. This is definitely the easiest main mode out of all the TGMs. Like this is the only one that I've managed to get to the 999. Currently, I'm working on Tetris Grandmaster 1 to get a clear there. Yeah. And it's coming to the Switch. Y'all should buy it next week. It's June 4th. Next week. In-game magazines. Please buy it. Please buy this game. This is one of the best games I played last year. It came last year, originally on PC. And it's a series. Oh my god, I should recommend to you right now. Wait, Tetris Grandmaster documentary. Okay. This video is fucking phenomenal. I know it's the length is a little intimidating. You should watch it. It is. I've been a fan of this series for a while. There's so much shit I did not know at all. The history of TGM is so fucking intricate, and there's like a shocking amount of drama to it. And that's why having TGM 4 now on a console, like a new TGM game with a bespoke console release that hopefully will be polished and will be responsive and play well and all that shit, is a big fucking deal. It is a massive deal. It felt like with every TGM game, they've been arcade exclusive like this whole time, right? And it felt like every single one of them was just held back in a way, right? And had some kind of asterisk attached. And with TGM4, the asterisk was like, well, okay, it launched in a pretty dire state, like technically. And the second asterisk was, well, it's only on PC, right? So now that's on like the most popular fucking console ever. Got no excuse. Buy it. Oh my god, it's happening again. Okay. Yeah, dude, I mean, there's like shit about this game that you could consider a spoiler, right? With TGM4. There's shit in it that's so insane and so wacky. And I mean, I know what happens, right? I looked it up. It's the kind of shit where, I mean, I don't even know if I will ever reach the level of skill required to sort of make it to that type of shit. But it is insane how this series just pushes and pushes and pushes the requirements further and further with every fucking game. It's so sick. Oh yeah, I want to do marathon now. It's free to play for that week. Cool thing with TGM 1 compared to Tab or 4 is that the onboarding is a lot more friendly with longer lock times and permissive grading. It's a lot easier to clear. The lack of Sonic leads to some really funny looking structures prior to. Yeah, see, that's my problem. That's where I'm really struggling. With TGM 1 right now, I'm like my best level was like, I was in the 500s somewhere before I tapped out. My logic with focusing on TGM1 right now is like, well, okay, TGM2 does not have... So TGM1 and TGM2, they're both available on Switch and PS4. And they're very affordable as well. At like $6, $7. However, they're a little laggy. Tetris Grandmaster 1 is on PlayStation 1 hardware. It was made for PlayStation 1 arcade hardware. Zoltan, what's up? T-spinning is not that important in TGM actually. So TGM1 is like actually very easy to emulate, like in a very responsive way. You can play it on the Mister and it's basically arcade faithful, right? And that was my reason for starting with TGM1. I was like, okay, you know what? I've played a lot of tap. I've played a shit ton of tap. But I'm gonna hold off on more tap, on grinding it more until I clear TGM1, and then hopefully by that time we'll have a Mister version for TGM2. But yeah, I guess TGM4, that's when I'll work on way more now that now it's coming to Switch. Okay, that's the first news item. Yeah, then I haven't played. Oh, I guess you're implying you like the tap and TGM1 style. Okay. I guess that, see, with 4 it was kind of hard to say why it felt so much easier. It still felt like reasonably challenging, yeah. But yeah, I do like it. Okay. Mina the Holler reviews. Honestly, I was like looking forward to the game like mildly. I like Shovel Knight, I like Yacht Club. The fact that this game's development was so troubled, it kind of gave me a little pause. Yeah, on MAME it's probably fine, but I'm fucking lazy, so... I will say, on MAME I noticed the rollback a lot when you play with run ahead. But, I don't know. I think I just want, like, a super faithful, authentic version here. I think IGN's been handing out the 10 out of 10s like candy. Like, let's be fucking real. The thing is, I didn't realize how much more this game was, like, up my alley. Until, like, recently. Apparently, it's much more level-based. It's not a Metroidvania, actually, at all. There's no, like, progression gates or anything like that. And there's no RPG grinding, right? It is kind of long, apparently, with, like 20 hours. But honestly, it sounds fucking cool. I don't know when I'll get to it, because I have a bunch of shit on my plate. I still need to do, like, Pragmata second playthrough, because I'm working on a thing for that. Yeah, it's a straight, like, it's basically an elaborate level select. You know, it is a big world that's, like, pretty interconnected, but ultimately you go to, like, relatively straight-laced, action-focused, like, action-packed, combat-packed areas. And that made me way more excited for it. I think that, like, apparently it does have a lot of sort of Souls-isms, which I don't think is bad. Yeah. Maybe this will be the best Souls game for being, like, a linear sort of non-RPG thing. I do love the aesthetic as well. So, I'm excited. I'll let y'all know. Oh, Steam Deck price, ripperoni. I don't have anything to say on this, to be honest. It's like, okay, the one take I have. Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, I'm gonna be priced out of games for good, right? And I understand that. I think eventually, maybe this is a naive take, eventually the hardware availability has to outpace the the AI bullshit. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean we already got the Switch 2 price hike, yeah. So it's not gonna get any better. Like, yeah, at some point the availability of hardware has to outpace the AI bullshit, right? I want to say at some point this is gonna get better. However, it will be a rough 2 to 3 years. That's what I'm thinking. Honestly, I was like kind of interested in buying a Steam Deck. Like now that the OLED is a thing, I was like really like considering it. There was a couple of moments where I was like, I mean, I can't afford it. I don't have the money for it at all. But yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Okay. I guess there's a little addendum to what I talked about yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry. Obviously I talked about Ubusuna. The arcade game, the shmup that was in the works by Hiroshi Yuichi and M2. And it's officially canceled at M2 at least. Yeah, dude, I don't even know what's gonna happen with the fucking Steam machine. I don't even know. Like, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be worth it. Yeah, I'm not like a cave guy, really. I don't really know that much about the culture. But it was kind of interesting how Mihara, who is relevant because he is one of the main developers behind TGM, he just randomly tweeted, and I saw him tweet it, right? I was like on Twitter, and he randomly said, yeah, Ikeda had to leave cave. And he said it sort of in a way where I was like, huh, wait, is this like a known thing? Was this like public knowledge? No, apparently not. Like, this is the first time we heard of this. And it's weird because like Cave, they are working on a new Doranpachi thing. They're working on a yeah, they're working on a sort of like an updated version of Resurrection or Daifukatsu. Nihongo desu. And this is like, I mean, this is gonna be a real game, you know? This is like actual like game design changes, not just a port. So it makes you think, okay, there's still like people actually at KF like making video games, but like he is leaving. So, I mean, and apparently it's due to family circumstances. So, suggests that he didn't want to leave, but he just had to. It's very sad. Very sad. The Tug, or Togue, how do you say that, racer they made for Saturn? Yeah. Dragon, what's up? Toge. Okay, gotcha. God, I hate Elgato Wavelength. Okay. Do you have anything else I want to talk about? I guess... Oh! About TGM. Last thing. Guys. I actually reviewed TGM 4. On my show, Backlog Battle, which is a monthly show, where I talk about all the games that are cleared off my backlog in a given month. It's a fire show. You should watch it. You should give it your support. Recent highlight content for members. Wait, let's see. Members only. Stupid. Okay. Got a bunch. Reviewed Resident Evil Requiem, Smash Melee, Dragon's Dogma 2, Cyberpunk, Metroid Prime, Death Stranding 2, Snake Eater, freaking Marvel vs. Capcom, DMC Vanilla, right? If you want to watch the show, you can either become a YouTube member or a Ko-fi member. You see the link to my Ko-fi page down here. Or you can become a Twitch subscriber, and as a Twitch subscriber, you will get access to, and like the same is true for the other membership options on my Discord, which is public, discord.zbro.com. Please somebody type that in chat. Public Discord, great source of Discord and discourse. There's a special channel called Habibi Content. That's where I put all the backlog battles. So if you're Twitch sub, that's the way to watch those. If you're interested, yeah, we got a lot of fun discourse. It's been First couple weeks of the server were a little rocky. It was getting a little crazy, but it's chilled out a little bit. If you want to have a nice little community where people actually are very serious about game design. Thank you, Dragon. Serious about game design. And like love discussing it sort of on a fun foundational level. This is the place for you. It's also the best way to like interact with me on stream. Like I usually use the server to like invite people on and that sort of shit. So yeah, Young Launch stuff. What's up? Okay, Niku was asking a question earlier. Have you played Birdcage? I have. It's a challenging shmup. I mean, I played on one of the easier difficulties, admittedly, so maybe I should give that another look. Focus on a more aggressive playstyle where you can cancel bullets with a sword that, however, requires to get close. Huge MGS zone at the end of vibes with the bang soundtrack. It was pretty cool. It didn't. I mean, it felt like sort of a Radiant Silvergun pastiche a little bit. And like I like the aesthetic. I like just the vibe of it. I like the way that it felt to play. Just on a very basic kind of level. But it didn't hook me as hard as like Katsui, for example. So yeah. Y'all, that's the news. Let's get into my fucking topic, which is game design trends tier list. I was asked already, is this like a existing template? No, I made this myself. This is high effort stream. Heck yeah, dude. I can, if you want to do your own tier list, I can provide the assets. I'll put it like in a zip folder on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, I guess this is a good time to mention again. It's also how I pick my topics, right? I have 2 segments, Potential Man Monday and Hot Take Wednesday. So you can suggest topics for Wednesdays and you can suggest games for Mondays. And I do listen to this shit. I do let it guide me, you know? So yeah. And a lot of the things that are here, I wanted a nice concise list of 20 things. It's a nice round number. And a lot of things here are things the community suggested. So if you haven't joined yet, consider doing so. Yeah, okay, to get into this a little bit, how this is gonna work, I split this up into 4 tiers. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. Positive influence, so having more of this type of thing, this movement, this rhetoric, this type of game, I think will overall be a good thing for maybe gaming or just the world. I don't know. Harmless is stuff where I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I'm not crazy about it personally, but I don't really see it as an inherently negative thing, right? That mixed bag is stuff where it can really go either way. Where, okay, I think the mixed bag category will be for stuff where like the idea is very delicate. If you implement this into your game, or if it's like something you build the game around, it can go wrong really easily. It requires a very deft hand to like do it well. I think this is where mixed bag kind of comes in. And then actively bad is like, okay, I don't see value in this at all. Please don't do it. Yeah. It mostly comes down to shitty implementation. Skill trees could be cool, but it's all... Yeah, see, I will have some things where I'm like, okay, this is definitely bad. Well, okay, see, when I look at something like Souls Combat, I'm like, okay, I think Souls Combat is not actively bad, actually. However, the fact that it's copied outside of From Software's games is a bad thing. I don't think there should have been a single game that does the exact same type of combat that From Software does, and yet there's like hundreds of them, dude. It's just so blatantly shitty, like in an artistic sense, in my opinion, that I'm like, oh god. So this one I'll be really torn between mixed back and active bad, but like, well, we can figure that out. Squeeze through sides, but I think that's a little too specific. So I guess from the list of things that I chose, it's like I chose stuff that it's like where it's relatively relevant. There's a couple things where like they're a little specific or they're maybe not quite as hot topics, but they're still relatively in high demand. And then I mean, GK mentioned it, like the arcade design shit. It's not really a trend. It is a movement, right? It's a bubbling up movement. So it's definitely worth talking about. If we don't get a single positive, let's go. Honestly, I was like thinking about that a little bit. I think a lot of them, I'm gonna be negative on a lot of stuff. I think. Kudaga, what's up? SoulsCon deserves to be active about IMO for the damages done to actions were discussed. Everyone defaults to Souls. I see. For me, it's really the fact that like, why are you copying this? There's no reason. Like, it's such a sign of bad creative instincts, in my opinion. I think that's really what gets me. Perry sells all casts. Strawberry Sunday, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna refill my water. Ozzy, what's up? You came at the perfect time. We're just getting started. Okay. Okay, I'll just go in the order that I put this shit down. So, AAA wide linear skill tree stop. It's sort of these like, I think this is like the default. Oops, sorry. This is the de facto like AAA structure where you can't make Uncharted 2 anymore, right? It has to be, okay, there has to be wide levels that are a little bit exploratory. There has to be some kind of upgrade system. You see that, I think Naughty Dog is like the perfect like scapegoat, right? You really see it with Naughty Dog, where it is unthinkable that they'll ever make a game that's like as simple as like an Uncharted 2, right? There has to just be more to it. Another big game I was thinking about is Pragmata, right? Where all the upgrade shit, all the exploration, all the Metroidvania stuff is so I don't know what's up. Yeah, I think that's accurate. It all felt so shallow and so unnecessary. So honestly, I'm very comfortable putting this in actively bad. Norse of War is way worse than Lost History. I think I agree. Ollie, what's up? Like, I don't see anything good about this. It's purely, okay, it is born out of, like, a market fucking reality. Where, like, yeah, you have the sense that, like, I can't sell my game unless it's, like, this big fucking thing. Bob's is up. Has Gadget unlocks a specific one. Oh, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad. I think it is a little bit of a spectrum, right? Because, like, some, like, 007... I think you could still say, okay, the structure maybe doesn't play to the game's strengths. From what I've seen. But, yeah. Renee, what's up? No. See, I think... Okay, arcade design, right? Arcade design. Let's get to the next one. Now, I agree with GK earlier. It's not really a trend yet. But it is a movement, right? Now, I do have my issues with the movement. I think a lot of the people that you talk to are just very intense and very strict and very aggressive and like very rigid with their thinking. And I think they will fall on their face with that. You know, eventually they will notice, oh god, the community is not growing. This isn't rankable. Well, now I think it's funny that nobody has like questioned yet what arcade design even means. Pseudo-matic, but I mostly agree with it. Yeah. See, arcade design, the way I would interpret it in this context is like, it's not all of them. The way I interpret it is permadeath, right? a single run, single session type of structure. Intuitive maybe is a too judgmental word. See, in my game design class, one of the distinctions we made is like between complicated and complex. I think a lot of modern games are very complicated, right? They have a lot of buttons that do a lot of things. Arcade games they need to be simple in that sense, but have complexity arise from the simplicity, right? I think that's also, I guess elegance maybe is a good umbrella term for that. Yeah, dude, I mean, that was a whole discussion in our Discord, right? Where I really had to tell people off, hey, y'all need to stop the dig measuring. It's just so fucking corny and embarrassing. God. Yeah. It does feel kind of broad because I think certain arcade subsections feel distinctly more and less developed, like action puzzlers versus beat 'em ups or rhythm games and fighting games. Yeah, yep. It is generally positive thing. See, the thing is, the reason I think it is inherently pretty much a positive thing is because it encourages restraint, right? You can take a lot of... I think we do need to talk more about, like, how arcade monetization is, like, a little predatory. Or it was predatory when it was, like, a thing. I think that is fair to say. That is fair to discuss. However, it doesn't mean that, like, the design had no merit, right? Obviously, that's where we can disagree with, like, the quarter muncher accusations. And a lot of those games are good, you know? I guess, like, maybe the monetization actually... In a way, it is fine, because, like, you couldn't just be blatantly shitty, you know? Player agnostic Dylan, what's up? Yeah, the 1cc session structure doesn't totally apply to something like Bomani games. Yeah, that makes sense. But I guess, like, they still have the restraint, you know? As an idea. Idea of gameplay density, absolutely, absolutely. There are more to arcade guys than there are more... oh, you probably mean good arcade guys than there are hostile ones. Okay. I know a lot of, like, pleasant ones. You know, like Mason, for example, right? Mason, he just plays Final Fight and he's living his life, you know? Great guy. Love that guy. Well, roguelike is specifically, has to incorporate randomness, right? In terms of, like, procedural generation of the content, yeah. I think that is, like, so distinctly different. I think there's a lot of overlap. However, you'll notice I did not put roguelike in here. I put roguelites. Because I think roguelikes are not very trendy right now. Actually. Red Goner, so glad we know how material conditions. That's funny. Arcade gamers don't want to admit that 1cc is just a proof of time committed. It's the equivalent of saying, I look at... Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Like, I do think being so dogmatic about it, right? Like, as if you don't have anything else going on in your life, and, like, not having 1cc is like a mark of failure or something, you know? That's where I disagree, right? However, I do think it is different from, like, just grinding. Because if you have a lot of legacy skill built up, you will get the 1cc's way faster in other games. Is there an arcade game where you don't earn lives from score or earn lives generally? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably. Who do more playing and less criticism are usually super chill, like Iconoclast on YouTube, for example. Isn't everything a proof of time committed? Playing is harder to look good. Psycho is roguelike because the stage order... That's fun. I think, for me, the most interesting part of arcade design is hardware specificity and custom... Yeah, I do like that. Being totally skill-based over stats and locals. Yeah. I do think... Are we committed to the take that, like, saving in games is a mistake? Yeah. Games should have never allowed saving. I guess it's a trendy it's a little vibes based. It's a trendy conversation. Okay. So, all that said, I'll put it in positive influence. Is a potential trend. I see it. I see it. Okay, genre blends. See, oh my god, fucking Elgato, dude. Okay. I'm not really fond of when, like, you have a game that consists of separate parts and they don't really interact, right? Obviously, if you watched my stream like 2 days ago, I was getting really upset about Star Fox Assault and people who like Star Fox Assault. And I mean, even in that game, you could make the argument that, like, well, where you land with your R-wing determines where you're gonna be on. I mean, but like that's. I think you can sort of force an interaction, right? Like, oh, in Pragmata, when you do the puzzle, because we designed it that way, it's gonna drop down the armor, right? Now Boghawk, he made a great point the other day. Maybe I can pull this up. He made a great point saying, okay, imagine if in Pragmata, GK, I'm torn between harmless and mixed bag. So he was saying, okay, imagine if in Pragmata, instead of where was it? Yeah. Imagine if instead of affecting the armor, right, it affected the environment or something. In that way, maybe the design wouldn't be so corrosive, right? Maybe the puzzle shit wouldn't have meant so many compromises on the shooter aspect of the game, right? There is a way to do a genre blend that is, like, actually compelling. I think, and this is something that Mark also said, Neon Inferno, I think, is a great example where, I mean, a run and gun is literally about movement, right? But when an enemy in the back forces me to now stand still, oh, suddenly we have a new dynamic that kind of cropped up, right? So clearly it can work. However, I think I'm leaning mixed bag because it can be harmful, right? It can be, okay, you're forcing a gimmick for, like, no good reason. And I think Pragmata, unfortunately, I like the game, but it is kind of one of those cases where, like, it doesn't go beyond its gimmick. Is action adventure a genre blend? Action adventure is just like you didn't want to make a game. Hot Pocket, what's up? The good genre blends just got called something else. Okay, Uprising does. I think with Uprising you could almost argue that it's two different games, yeah. See, I've heard, like, more mixed opinions on Actraiser these days. Because that's the thing, like, you can do both parts well, but then it's still like, okay, it's just you put two games together, right? I think the getting something great out of it is really hard. I think that's sort of my argument against it. Oh, we'll get to RPG elements. Isn't your favorite dev Treasure? They are. What are you suggesting? What's a Treasure genre blend? Maybe I should have called this I don't know, though. I mean, Rain and Silvergun is just a shmup. Yeah. Where's the... I mean, it's... It just has like character fucking progression, right? Like, obviously in the Saturn version, the home version, you can carry the progression across multiple playthroughs, but, like, clearly that's not really how the game is supposed to be played, yeah. In the regular context, it's just sort of like, okay, it's routing, you know, you upgrade, like, individual things, but, like, that's not really a crazy uncommon thing for Overwatch, I would say. And the puzzle thing, I mean, I'm raising an eyebrow there. Well, I'm mixed on this. A lot of Morningstar, because like, see with Pragmata, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm glad this game exists because it is unique, you know. But would it be a richer game had it just focused on being like a third-person shooter? Maybe. It's possible. Acros is pretty neat. Neither side of it is super interesting all on their own. On a serious note, I think the campaign more or less being structured as a demo for the both players is a lot more damaging. The idea of genre itself is just blending ideas. Okay, you know what? But I guess you all know what I mean though, right? In Pragmata's case, it is literally, okay, we just took two totally unrelated things, right? And like forced a way for them to be together, right? Like an Alien Soldier, right? In Alien Soldier, you also have the ammo upgrades, and you have to decide which ones to upgrade. Does that make an RPG? Like, you could say, I mean, it is a progression mechanic. I just think calling it a genre blend is a little bit of a stretch, yeah? I think with Guardian Heroes, the argument is much stronger, because, like, it's just way more upfront, you know? But even then, it is run-based, so, I don't know. Oh, the fighting game section at the end of Star. That's funny. Okay, I'm committing to mixed bag. Fuck y'all. Okay, 3 pick 1. I don't know how to feel with this one actually. This is a very recent meme for those who don't know. In like a lot of rogue style games, you get to one of your upgrade opportunities, and then it's like, oh, exactly a choice of between 3 things, and you've got to pick one of them. I think sorta. Like Souls Combat, this is like one of those things where it's like, okay, it's not inherently bad, maybe. Like the implications on the game are a little ambiguous. However, the fact that it's such a game design shortcut, I think, is very annoying, right? Sasha, what's up? See, the command menu in KH2, for example, it is one. Again, I think that actually is a good example because it is one of the more unique examples. Like, it makes the game feel unique. But like, would I really, if you could put a gun to my head and ask me, okay, what's the most interesting thing about Kingdom Hearts? I would not say the command menu. You know? Like, the game is like mostly completely self-sufficient, and it feels kind of forced in. You know. Senko no Ronde. Oh, I barely know what the fuck that game is. I've heard of it, but yeah. Is the Diana stuff actually a pun? Don't say it too loud. It's so blatantly copying in any game. It's that in the that it's in that I just think it's bad and shocking. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's harmless. I have a hard time deciding. Is it better or worse than when you just used to get just want to deal with it? Low key, it is worse. I saw Matthew Matosis actually make this argument because like, if it's this, you're never actually gonna pick anything you don't like. Yeah, you're always gonna be comfortable. You're gonna try to make it as comfortable for yourself as possible. When I think the interesting thing about a roguelike is like dealing with the hand that you're dealt, right? This gives you an out. And I think it makes the game design lazy as well. Because like once you have this as a tenant in your game, you're like, well, okay, we don't need to force the player to do anything, right? And we don't need to think about a situation. Like, I'm not a Binding of Isaac expert, but I get the sense that like, okay, if we're forcing you to use this one item, we have to think about how this is still interesting and enjoyable, right? Whereas with this, you don't have to think about it because you can just avoid it, you know? So I kind of want to say actively bad. I guess like I'm really questioning, okay, I feel like this is like, it's not horrible, but it feels very lazy. That's kind of where I'm at. And the fact that it's so lazy is like why I would put it in actively bad. If the perks were better than just minor stats waste, what's up? Aha. Depends on whether the roguelike elements are good. It can be harmless or actively bad, but never good, I think. That's interesting. Okay. It feels like an implementation-specific issue here, since it has the potential as a lazy catch-all for unbalanced progression items, but then I don't know why I feel like it works for something like Into the Breach, even after cozy amount of unfair mode runs. I do like Into the Breach. Well, let's say in Hades they just redesigned it completely, yeah? Like, I'm not even saying the choice needs to be between fewer things. Maybe there's a solution we haven't thought of, you know? Even Downwell's pick 3 was mid, so it's bad even in a good game. Yeah. Most of the time bad. Illusion of significant choices. Okay, I'm gonna put in actively bad. Fuck it. Okay. Infinite grinding. Don't have to talk about it.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you.
Do we have to talk about this one?
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
What if they consistently give you the same options every time? Like the same, like on every run I get the same sets of 3. What do you mean exactly? I guess I'll say about infinite grinding. I mean, this is like one of those things where like, okay, the only way you can, what I mean by infinite grinding, by the way, is, you know, usually the way it works is like you got enemies and they respawn indefinitely and you can farm them indefinitely. And, your character has a experience system, right, where they get stronger with experience gained, and there's no cap on it really. You know, past like level 99, I guess. Yeah. See, obviously, God, I think to really break it down, right? Obviously, Fishy, what's up? The argument that always gets brought up is like, well, you don't have to grind, you know? And it's like, at some point, the grind becomes unviable, right? It's such an insane time investment that it becomes unviable. I get it, right? The issue with it is that it makes difficulty ambiguous, right? The issue is that you have this very uncomfortable marriage between skill and fucking grinding, right? I mean, fundamentally, I don't like the idea that the player should... that the way you make the game easier is by just substituting your time, right? Because that's like... it's like... because it's so purely mechanical as well, right? It's, how to put this? Like, let's say, okay, there's a minimum level required to, like... there's a minimum level of sort of engagement or grind or whatever required to beat a certain section, right? Now, a skilled player and a not skilled player, they will have to do the same thing to be able to beat that section, right? It's just that the skilled player will have to do much less of it, probably. But clearly, they both have to, like, engage in the process and then decide, okay, this is enough, right? I find that incredibly unsatisfying. And I find it really, especially with the unskilled player, right? I find it very disrespectful of their time. Why? Just because I'm bad at the game, right? Like the fact that I'm substituting actually learning a skill or practicing the game or learning how to understand blah, 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 with just playing it more, and just dumping more time into a mindless activity. That seems very disrespectful to me. Yeah, that's the thing, Stormy Soup. It's again, by tying these two things so closely together, you've created a completely ambiguous situation, right? That's why I can't take stuff like Elden Ring really seriously. When people say, oh yeah, I want like an honorable challenge in Elden Ring, and I'm like, it's like, bitch, okay, I have to come up with the honorable challenges, yeah? I have to, sort of make the realization, like I have to slowly tease out, okay, what is the most satisfying way to play this, right? And if I'm hitting a wall by not interacting with all the grind mechanics, I'm like, okay, well, where do I need to compromise? How much should I compromise? At what point do I reach the satisfying experience? It's just such a fucking mess, and there's nothing good about it. The only good thing that accomplishes is it feels good when you level up, right? I think most of us agree it does feel good when you level up, because we're fucking monkey brains, and we're just wired that way, right? However, and this is just a fundamental truth in game design, right? Just because it feels good doesn't mean it's good design. I could make the thing is, I'm always hesitant to make a video on this sort of shit because it's like so uninteresting to me, right? To me it's so obvious that it's not good. Yeah, the argument that people say is like, well, okay, the fact that the difficulty is so granular means that like technically you have more freedom in how you can personally scale it, right? You could like come up with like weird challenge runs for yourself. That is a unique thing about this type of game. I can give it that. Give it its own tier. I can give it that, but I don't value that much, and I feel like there's more interesting ways to like that you could like approach that. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, minimal pushback sandbox design. So this is the meme. This is why I have Donkey Kong Bonanza running in the background. Obviously, this is the current Nintendo trend. We're like, the umbrella term that I was like tempted to go with here was player expression as well. Where, okay, if we make the player sort of feel smart, by like letting them break the rules, that's like good design, right? Now I used to be a big proponent of this type of design, right? Because like I was like fucking with the dopamine rush of like, oh my god, I came up with a weird crazy solution and then felt awesome, right? Now I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey again for a content thing, and that's another game where at launch I was like, oh yeah, it's sick. You know, I just did a crazy sick, weirdly unnecessary jump, right? And skipped the whole section or something. It felt good. I do see the value in it, right? I think that is cool, but then sometimes you'll just run into moments where I'm like, well, I just skipped the whole section, and I think I would have rather played the section, yeah. I would have rather had a tight, interesting challenge, right? And I think with this type of design, with Odyssey, you really just notice God is really fucking hard for the designers to actually make something that feels tight. Because they open up the mechanics so much on a fundamental level that it's really difficult to contain it, you know, to constrain it. So it's not something where like, oh, you can give the player the mechanics and then most of the time it will be a satisfying challenge. No, like once you make that decision to design the game like this, it's like everything around kind of folds. Yeah, hi, that's exactly it. So, but like, I mean, if I were like an arcade supremacist, obviously, you know, if I were Blader, bless his heart, or Backhog, this would go here, right? There's a lot of games that I like that are in this category. So I want to say mixed bag. I want to say it's a mixed bag because like I think it can be used for very beautiful, positive things that I like. Again, like, I mean, you look at some of my favorite games like Mario 64, fucking DMC4, Breath of the Wild also. I love Bonanza. Like, I love a lot of the games that follow this philosophy. And like, I'm not someone who's super pressed about game balance either, right? I don't get, like in Pragmata, I just don't play it that way where like, oh, I hang out in a corner and I just take pot shots. I just don't, like, that's, I think that's a fair complaint. I just don't value that highly, you know? So yeah, but ultimately I think it can be very lazy, and that's why I'm like tempted to put it here. Yeah, I think DMC4 is like a sandbox kind of game, yeah. I would put it in that category. This is the least charitable way of wording this. Yeah, I mean, there is something a little. The indifference of it is something I just kind of have an issue with, you know? We're like, oh, we let the player be creative, so like, fuck it, you know? We don't need to design the game. I think that's where it can become like a really slippery slope. Maybe I should rank it like within tiers as well. So I think the minimum pushback sandbox design can be like at the top of mixed bag, because it's like the best mixed bag. But yeah, Souls Combat. Let's just put it in actively bad. Fuck it. Let's put it in actively bad. Not because Souls Combat itself is actively bad. Like, I like some Souls games. You know, I like some of the combat in it. I just think as a design trend, it should have never become a trend. You know, it should have never been, oh, I'm gonna copy Dark Souls 1-to-1. Hell fucking yeah. You know? Like, if that's what you're doing with your video game, I don't respect you. I don't fucking respect you. I'm sorry. I think there's like, the thing is, there's ideas in Souls that like definitely are worth taking and learning from, right? High commitment to like literally everything. Like the sense of elegance, right? That's a game that doesn't really over-explain itself. That it's like very artistically cohesive, you know? That's the type of shit that like, yeah, you should take lessons from. Not, oh my god, I pressed the lock-on button and then I circle straight from the enemy and then I watch my stamina bar. Bad. It creates a lot of really bad habits. I mean, it's also like all these devs, they copy the AI as well. The AI in Souls is dog shit. That's so bad. And it is, I think, a really troubling thing about it is that like it has created a very deep sort of lack of palette. Where like there's a lot of people whose favorite thing in the world is Souls Combat, and the discourse doesn't even reach stuff sort of like beat 'em ups or other types of games. I don't know. The chat is moving fast. Hang on. Saying Breath of the Wild isn't designed low-key fun. You know what I meant though. I'm being a little facetious, right? The satisfaction of just walking behind an enemy instead of dodge roll, like, you know. Dude, hop on Spike Out. Hop on Spike Out. Souls and Cags are creating unholy fusions. As much as I love tight game design, I think one thing that I count for with the game design is how much effort it takes to learn how to play a game in the right way. See, GK, the thing is, I don't disagree with you, actually. I think we're kind of aligned in our tastes. That's why I'm very reluctantly putting it in mixed bag. Because I really see the danger of it, you know? At least it doesn't have suck to target, true. But then you could make a Souls game feasibly with suck to target, yeah. If it took me a long time to learn how to play a game in a lame way, I think it's a bit dishonest for me to pretend that the game wasn't trying to push me at all. I think this is where I diverge a little bit, because like, because when I mean the way this is fucking game designer brain, right? Game academia pretentious fucking brain. Because like what I'm trying to do is like I don't try to evaluate my experience with the game. I try to evaluate the system, right? The underlying thing of what the game is. So when I receive a new revelation of the game, like obviously it won't change my personal feelings about it, right? I like Crazed actually, right? If I learn, oh, it has this crazy fucking exploit that kind of breaks the game, like that won't change my love for the game, obviously. However, as a game designer, when I'm like critically evaluating it, I'm like, you know what? This is something you should look at, right? This is something you should be very mindful of. So for me, they are kind of two different axes, and I try to wear different hats with this sort of shit. Yeah. Parry Stop is the real culprit. I have a hot take on that. When I say Soul's Comet, I mostly mean Lock on Circus Strafe. With that exact camera, with the committal animations, that sort of shit. Yeah, see, I wasn't sure, but I figured Stellar Bay probably has it. Stellar Bay probably has a silk. How bad is the hover bike? See, that's the thing, right? That's a perfect example, actually, because, like, okay, I made the Green Goblin glider, and then I never interacted with the fucking game again, you know? I just, like, just zoomed everywhere. I was like, well... And especially when, like, the map is, like, so... just so shitty and lame. Must be fucking... I like Tears of the Kingdom. I like it a lot, actually. But, God. DeFritos, what's up? Oh, you've been here for a while, I think. Peak toy design and value that almost more than having an iron cluster. I think that's totally fair. I think that's valid. It's not exactly how I look at games, but I think it's valid. Kursu Daigo Mihara. Okay, yellow paint. It's definitely not good. Yeah, I'm down with putting in actively bad, actually, yeah. I don't think this warrants that much explanation. I was, like, thinking of putting in harmless. The thing is, it is harmless to your experience. It's, like, it's just, like, stupid and inelegant and annoying, right? At worst. However, yellow paint is a symptom. The thing is, once you start doing yellow paint, it's like, okay, well, might as well never design a level ever again. Right, once you can say, okay, let the yellow paint handle it, you just notice how the level design can get, like, really fucking lazy from there. And, like, something like Resident Evil 4 Original, the visual guidance in it really sticks out to me. Like, bro. So sick, dude. Okay. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Okay, this is the first screen in the game, right? This is the first shot. And it's immediately, okay, you see your destination here immediately. They really thought about, oh, they put a hill here, they put the destination here. Like, not only is it clearly visually communicated, but it's also, oh, because they put you like this, you have to, like, understand, oh, I need to turn around and curve around the hill. So it immediately teaches you how to move, right? And it's like, you could just put yellow paint everywhere and, like, fucking not worry about it. Or you could do this, right? And then immediately, oh, it gives you the crows. Obviously, maybe it doesn't occur to you that you can shoot at the crows, right? But then as you keep playing the game, well, number one, this is all, even if you know, right? It's an opportunity to like kind of get a head start, be a little funky, be a little nasty with it, right? But then if you go forward, the crows will react to you, and then maybe it will spark the idea that like, huh, okay, maybe this world is like a little more interactive than I thought, right? And then obviously, even just okay, you walk here, right? And before you even get to the fork, what happens? The cutscene plays. So the cutscene tells you, oh, I probably want to go inside the house, you know? And it's like, for years, I didn't even realize that you could go to the right and then the way is blocked off, right? And the way doesn't clear until you do the house first, right? It's so fucking smart. And like, the thing is, the way the house is laid, that's the interesting part, right? The way the house is laid out makes no fucking sense, right? Like, the fact that it's this weird hallway and it wraps around, and then you're in this, like, big-ass living room, right? I mean, this is not too bad, right? This sort of, you could argue this sort of makes, but, like, where does he sleep, you know? And then you go up later. And the stairs kind of lead nowhere, right? Like, this is not a logical house. However, they designed it to make sense for a video game, you know? And it's fucking fire. And I feel like once you do yellow paint, like, you're not gonna do that, you know? You're not gonna fucking do that. So, yellow paint bad. He means this man who blows a dream house. There's an amazing video on yellow paint. I forgot the name of the YouTuber. I do think game visuals have just gotten way too detailed. You know, that is a part of it for sure. That's why Breath of the Wild is so good, dude. God. Okay. So I'm just catching up with the chat. Okay. Extraction shooters. Okay, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I haven't played a single one of these. I kind of wanna put them in positive influence because like what I hear about them sounds kind of sick. The like season structure that you like get loot over the course of a season, and there's like deep consequences to like losing and shit in a multiplayer context sounds kind of awesome. I'm tempted to put it in positive influence. However, because I'm a fucking noob, I will play Marathon when the free week happens. Hopefully. Hopefully I'll make time for it. But if the chat has thoughts on extraction shooters, please let me know. Companion talk. Yeah. Oh, I like that guy. I like this guy. I like the Caleb guy. He makes good videos. Friends stop affectionate. Okay, fuck it. I'll put it in positive influence. I'm not gonna think too deep. I want to be a little spicy, yeah. Okay. Cooldown slop. See, maybe I'll have to be convinced that it can be good. I have not seen an implementation where I'm like, yeah, there's not a better way to do this. The worst thing with cooldown slop is that it dictates a schedule of combat, right? To maximize DPS, you have to use the skill as soon as you have it, right? So I think number one, as a player, if you realize this, it becomes much less strategic. But also as the designer, once you realize this, is like, okay, how the fuck do we deal with this? Actually, you could design the cooldowns in a way where they're a little more situational, right? Where you can't just pop it when it's ready. However, then the question is like, okay, how does the situationalness of it work? Is it like a Doom Eternal where, okay, you just put the square peg in the square hole? Or can it be like something a little more nuanced, right? Honestly, it just seems kind of bad. The appeal is way too based on the dopamine of looting stuff. I think that is probably fair. But like, I want to be spicy, so I'm gonna put it in positive influences. Hoopla, what's up? I wonder if I'm like playing a marathon on console, I'm gonna make a mistake. I don't know. Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of crazy. You're describing Xenoblade X, by the way. Okay. Doom Eternal is one where I'm starting to be a little less mean about it. I'm like sort of starting to see the vision a little bit. I still don't know if I personally like it. I just feel like I've played a lot of games where it is kind of optimal. Yeah. See you around, Niku. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Okay. Air juggles. See, okay. Air juggles. Air juggles, air juggles, air juggles. I do think the air juggle guys on Twitter, they can be very annoying. They can be very annoying. I think it is like sort of a shortcut to make your game look cool. Instant F tier. Damn, okay, there's like some emotions. I want to be spicy with it. I kind of want to put it in harmless. Cause like, I feel like if the air juggles ruin your game, I don't think they're gonna ruin it, actually. I feel like there has to be other problems. And it's like, I mean, it's rare that doing an air juggle is not fun, at least for a little bit. And they can be really sick too, right? Like in Spike Up, for example, where the character weight is pretty high, where you have to be really, really tight with your timings. It's kind of sick. The inner child, Team B, what's up? The inner child of me can't fully hate air juggles. Yeah, I mean, I used to be a juggle fucking evangelist, right? Well, Ozzy, I want to say the surrounding enemies are like aggressive enough that it's not really too much of a problem. I can't think of a lot of games where the air juggle ruins the game. I mean, you could say in DMC 3 or Bayonetta, for example, you could like really isolate the enemies and like abuse the camera that way, right? That's kind of true, but also then those games have scoring systems to like really mend it a little bit. So I don't know. I think they're harmless. You can't shotgun hack most of it. Yeah. Fuck it. Harmless. Mixed bag and juggle. It's mainly because people overhype them as something could come. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think that's why a lot of y'all are gonna be tempted to say mixed bag. But I think that is like discourse brained, right? The question is, does it actually harm the overall games, like in practice? I'm skeptical of that. I feel like I feel like it's not like Souls Combat where it's so ubiquitous, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It can lead to really cool things when enemies can escape combos, like in God Hand as well. People are annoying. Yeah, I get it. The thing is, if it's execution heavy, it's fucking sick. If it's execution light, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, doesn't really matter, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. See, DMC5, right? DMC5 is one of those games where it's like, DMC5 is air juggle slop, for sure. But is that what's ruining the game? I feel like the game just has, like, it's sort of a symptom of deeper issues with the game, yeah? So, yeah, the free marathon week is next week, I think. Yeah. So, I think it's fine. I think it's harmless. Blader's gonna fucking kill me. Okay, assist mode. I will also put in harmless. Is that a hot take? I don't know. See, here's the thing. Here's my opinion on assist mode. I think artistically, I'm not a fan of it. I think there's something very inelegant and kind of crass about it. However, it is optional mode. So who gives a fuck? Obviously, you know, maybe y'all saw my Mina the Hollower video. If you want my full opinion on this sort of shit, just go here, go to this video. But I think there is sort of a semantic kind of arbitrariness to like segmenting parts of the design like that, right? But I do think it is segmented, right? I do think it can easily exist as a separate thing. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Friend swap. I think, okay, here's the thing. I don't know if I've played a single friend swap game actually. I want to play Peak. I need to get the lads together for some Peak. I have a lot of friends who do play a lot of friend swap, right? Here's the thing. It's not something I'm super emotional about. It's not a type of game that I'm super emotional about. However, when I look at it, it's like, well, it's a type of game that makes you engage with other people, that makes you socially interact. And it's also, they're like based on novelty, right? They're relatively easy to make for most developers. And a lot of developers, they got off the ground by making by shitting out some friend swap that like made people happy for a couple of weeks. And then that's it, yeah. And it didn't need to be deeper than that. More of y'all need friends, so fucking true.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you.
Oh my god.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
I feel like the thing is they're also so that's the thing. Even though we're getting so many of them, is it actually a bad thing? Because it feels like they're really in their own lane, and I think their whole appeal is that they're short-lived, you know, and that's why they're not really gonna corrode anything around them, really. So that's my take. More of your only friends so far. Friend swap is crap. Harmless actually peak. Getting people together playing this isn't that. Yeah. Spy God was the original friend swap. That's the thing, even just the fact that developers can make a living off of these games. Isn't that a great thing? Isn't that an awesome thing? Yeah. Like a lot of small indie devs. Also usually has no meta progression because it would be hard to... Yeah! streamer bait trend. I want to say streamer bait is kind of bad. But I don't have strong feelings on streamer bait. I couldn't even name a stream. Like, I guess horror games are streamer bait a lot of the time, but yeah. Okay, cool. You got that. Meter slop. I mean, I've enjoyed games with meter mechanics. However, I've also not enjoyed a lot of games. I've not enjoyed many more games than that are meter slop. So I think it's similar to my cooldown thing, where it often dictates like a schedule for combat, and I feel like combat should not feel like a schedule, you know, it should feel dynamic and like interactive and fluid. Some kind of, I just feel like, just like with cooldown and stuff, I feel like there's a better way to do it, you know? I feel like it's kind of lazy. You can have a good game that is meter slop. Yeah, GK, I'm not gonna say I came up with it, because like because like it's pretty obvious, right? It's a pretty obvious thing to come up with. Just putting slop on a thing you don't like. However, I think meter games, that is definitely like a conversation point for sure. I mean, obviously Square Enix, they fucking love their meters. It's very heavy with their games, but like, I mean, Street Fighter 6 is like the first meter slop fighting game, right? And see, that's what's annoying, right? Street Fighter 6 is objectively like a deep game. But I think the fact that it is so meter based makes it feel there's something very unnatural and very like financially viable and actually nurturing instead of predatory. What's that like? Yeah, that's exactly it. The thing is, I think I can entertain the arguments that FF7R is actually a deep game. I really did not like it, but I guess that's sort of secondary to the fact that like it is this design shortcut, you know? Ooh, you know what? I do love the meter management cage too. But that's should I put a mixed bag? Because I feel like, I mean, with KH2 is like one example where they actually did like a great thing with it. They gamify interactions in a way really just like, yeah. How do you feel about the Royal Guard meter in DMC games? That's the thing. It's a way to like contain mechanics, you know? Like Royal Release is insanely powerful, right? And to make it a little less insane, we make you grind for it for a little bit, right? And I just feel like once you have to do that, maybe that tells you maybe I should approach it a different way. Maybe there should not be a meter, right? You can't DT meter. Dude, there's so many games with... Doesn't Bayonetta also has a good meter, actually? Yeah, you know what? Y'all convinced me. Y'all convinced me. I'm gonna put it... I'm not gonna put it in actually bad. I'm not gonna put it in actually bad. I'm gonna put it in mixed bag. Meter slop. ESP Rade. Dude, can Hollow Knight ceiling on a meter? See, I think the Hollow Knight implementation is also pretty good, actually. Yeah. Yeah, Sasha, that's exactly right. Okay, you know what? Y'all convinced me. Okay, Metroidvania. Controversial thought. The peak of Metroidvania design was Ocarina of Time Water Temple. That was the peak of Metroidvania design, where it's a thing where just standing guy, what's up? KH2 meters all interact with each other in really elegant ways. I honestly can't think of anything similar when it comes to meters. I'm probably in the fighting game space. There's like other shit that I'm not thinking of, but yeah. And yeah, in Bayonetta 2, the issue was like they have 1 meter used that is just objectively the best, and like everything else kind of folds under it. So Ocarina of Time Water Temple is like one where, guess what? You actually have to think logically about where the fuck you're going, right? Like, oh, I see this room is up there, but my water level is here. So I need to make the logical connection that, like, I gotta go this way and raise water level. It's not something that, like, where the structure just reveals itself, sort of inherently, right? Where, like, most Metroidvanias, you can just, if you don't know where to go, just check every fucking door, yeah? Here, like, that's not really gonna get you very far, right? You really have to think about the space very logically. My hot take is that we never got better than this. And in fact, we only got worse after this. I don't know if there's any game that actually tried anything remotely similar to this after that, right? Because it was very poorly received, right? It is a very sort of heady concept. And I think now, a Metroidvania structure, it is there to, like, give you the satisfaction of, like, ooh, I'm unlocking stuff. I'm, like, slowly, I'm unearthing this fucking map. But it's not actually making the game more interesting, you know? It's not... At best, it's a neutral quality. I think it's never in service of anything actually of that great, right? So I'm tempted to put it in actively bad. Obviously, there's, like... As a trend, it's actively bad, right? As a design paradigm, it can be fine. But, like, look at fucking Silksong, right? Look at freaking Silksong. Wouldn't we all agree that that would be just better as a linear fucking action game? Yeah. Majora's Mask Dungeons feel more Water Temple adjacent than most Zelda Legends. I'm excited to revisit that. I'm gonna replay it. I recently played through Ocarina and was like, ugh, this shit is slop, man. This shit is slop. Oh, okay, you know what, Ziggy? Here's the thing. I did play Randomizer, and I thought it was fucking awesome. See, the thing is, it is, like, drawing on the unique fact that, like, oh, you know where the items are, but you don't know which item you're gonna get. It's random, right? I think that's fire. I just think it's such a... That's the thing. Super Metroid is another one where it's, like, such a specific combination of ingredients where it became a good thing. Same with the Water Temple, right? I just feel like that's how a design is so fucking rare. Yeah. So I want to say, and, like, the thing is, as a design trend, you get instant props for making a Metroidvania game, even though it's not necessarily benefiting your game. I think that's where I'm, like, really... So the fact that we have positive examples of Metroidvania doesn't really change my feelings on it. Oh, that's a big factor, Evil Lucario as well, yeah. I think I don't like when I have to use real world logic as well, right? That feels... Because, like, imagine, okay, Ocarina of Time has, like, a bunch of instances where, like, you gotta burn XYZ, right? You gotta burn this, like, spider web. It's like, okay, then why can't I burn the fucking wood, right? If the game is establishing that burning things is, like, a mechanic, then why can't I burn this other thing? Well, it's because it's a fucking video game and they just program it in a very specific way. But, like, because you used real world logic to explain some things, you're gonna be inconsistent, you know? So, meh. Is a progression slop adjacent? Honestly, yes. It's in service of vibes. Yeah, it is. But I don't value vibes, unfortunately. I'm a fucking cold-hearted motherfucker. Yeah, I did not like the Silksong map either. It just felt, the thing is, it felt like it was screaming to be a linear game. Moral alignment tracking. DXND, what's up? That's a good question. I think I'm mostly not a fan of it. It's a little cheesy. I do like Metroidvanias, actually. See, I think Metroidvanias is like closer to Water Temple, yeah? Maybe the Water Temple is a Metroidvania. I do like Metroidvanias. Because, like, again, it's emphasizing, oh, I actually have to think of what's going on. But I think with the problem with Metroidvanias is, like, they're very much about the meta element of it, yeah? That, okay, there's a hidden layer or something that you don't know about. So, yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Super Metroid feels like it's very rule-based, you know? It feels like, okay, there are progression gates. GK, you haven't heard of this? That's crazy. Wait, okay. That's crazy. Wait. Y'all are joking. No, it's been a thing, dude. It's been a thing for a while. Like, at least... Dude, I first heard it when I was in America. Like 2 years ago. That's when Animal Well came out. And, like, I started people saying, yeah, Metroidvania. That's crazy. So I want to say the first Metroidvania game was... See, too... What, did I lie? La Mulana counts as one? Yeah, La Mulana predates, actually. That's, yeah. Wait. I think The Witness counts. Tunic obviously counts. White People Love Me. A weird. Where's Fez? I feel like Fez is the most famous Metroidvania, probably. So for those who don't know, wait. Hang on, let me pull up the meme. I truly despise the term Metroidvania. It sounds so pretentious, but the genre is sauced up. Togetori 2, does that count? Wait, let me look through my fucking Photos app. Oh, I found it. Oh, no way. Wait. Oh, that's so fire. Oh my god, that's so sick. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so fire. I'm so happy. Wait. I think Boghog made this one. Okay, credit to Boghog. Why am I laughing? Apologies, my friend. It's just that as a Metroidvania player, these simple, straightforward indie games of yours, well, I find them to be amusing. What's that? A free sample of your new Metroid-inspired indie game with Souls-like elements? Not necessary. I've already calculated its possibility space in my head. Perhaps a little more... I don't even know what this is. Oh my god. Oh, so sick, dude. Oh my god. So for those who don't know, a Metroidvania is it is sort of like a Metroidvania, but like usually like progression is just a little more complex, but then also the further you play, the more you realize, oh, there's like a hidden layer in this game that I didn't understand that like changes the entire way I look at the game, right? There's a weird meta. A lot of these games have like meta puzzles as well, where you gotta interact with the community and all that shit, you know. So far. Yeah. I feel like the Water Temple was laying the groundwork for Metroidvania. And like Metroidvania is just a lazy fucking... It's just a lazy version of it, yeah. I can kind of see it. With Super Metroid, I can kind of see it. Okay, Parry Slop. Parry slap, I want to say... Okay. Save Metro. Okay, y'all are very, very aggressive about this one. The thing is, we're kind of... Are we running out of space? See, I've used the argument that, like, well, as a paradigm, as a design paradigm, maybe it's not that bad. But as a trend, it's awful, right? I've used that to justify a lot of these. Okay, my Ilma Zalper. Give your definition to the class. People overcorrect with parry slap IMO, but my shtick is when people say parry games are like rhythm games. Yeah, maybe it is similar to like a Metroidvania situation where like could have been good as a trend sucks, but nothing wrong. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at. Cause like there's I mean, Third Strike is sick, you know. Oh god, Onimusha. See, I think the problem is like, yeah, that's the thing. It's not like meter slap, where meter slap is like like it can be a shortcut, but often it kind of isn't, you know. Well. No, let me rephrase this. It is a shortcut. It is like a band-aid for game design a little bit. But it's not like meter slap. It immediately sells your game, right? The way parry slap does, or the way Metroidvania does, and that's why maybe Metroidvania, maybe parry slap it deserves. Because like I feel like it does. It is shutting down sort of any critical thinking, right? Like, if the parry is cool, if it look like the reason people are getting tired of parries is not even because the game design undergirding it is bad, and it is a lot of time it is bad. I think literally people are only tired of it because it's so common, and I think even that is like a problem, right? That like we don't even analyze the problem anymore, you know? Like in Clay Obscure is one. Like, I just googled parry slap, and then this was one of the first examples that came up. But like, it is one where it's like, oh my god, the entire design around the parry just completely fucking folded, you know. And it is a very acclaimed game, you know. And I feel like it's gotten to a point like where yes, people are tired of it. But not for the right reasons, you know. People are not actually interrogating the mechanic very much, and how bad it is, or how badly it is used. So I think it kind of has to go in actively bad, yeah, unfortunately. Because I mean, again, I like the Alien Soldier parry. I like Third Strike, of course. You know, all the big ones. It doesn't have to be bad as a mechanic, like GK said, right? It's a mixed bag as a mechanic, but as a trend, it's like. And I feel like there's nothing inspiring developers to actually think about a good way to do it, you know? The only thing that is inspiring them is like, okay, it is too common now, right? People have started now that people have started saying parry slap, we gotta stay away from it. And I think I'm just frustrated when like a thing is only bad when there's a fatigue of it, right? Because I think if you're pointing at the fatigue, you're not actually critically engaging with the idea, right? I've seen people like defend parries like a year ago, and then now they're like much more negative about it just because of the fatigue aspect, you know? Not because they actually changed their mind about like the way it's implemented in a lot of games. And yeah, Onimusha will be... I mean, I played at Gamescom and like... Ugh. No, sir. No, sir. The thing is, it feels cool. It feels cool when you do it. But like, long term, I just realized, oh my god, like, it's really flattening the entire game, right? It's okay. Once we, like, in a turn-based game, it is important that you have a trade of resources, right? I think that is, like, one of the foundational aspects of turn-based. Once you let the player circumvent that, it's like, okay, what the fuck do we have to do, right? We have to really rack up the damage to where, okay, the parry is basically required. And then also, the main challenge now is not, like, the strategy or, like, the builds or whatever. It is, like, the telegraphing, right? Dealing with the fucking telegraphing. I don't know, dude. Yeah, oh my god, see, bro, Resident Evil Requiem final boss, I literally stood in one spot and just hit the parry button. It was parity leveled. Nandos, what's up? I want to play Nine Salt. I know a lot of people like it. I do want to play it. Seriously, I like aiming the parry, for example. I like aiming the parry in Sin Punishment. Multiple parry. Yeah. I mean, I was like thinking about how to word this, right? I was like gonna be like, oh, parrying out of a combo, like no commitment, telegraph attacks, blah blah. But like, ultimately, I just summarize it as parry slap. You know, it's a little hard to summarize. Would Sifu have been better without the parry? That's a good question. I think it would just be such a different game without the parry. I think in Sifu it's like pretty tastefully done. That's the thing. Sifu is parry slap and is meter slap, right? A little bit, but I like it. So that's I think that tells you a lot. Sure. I mean, I think if the bet is like, the thing is, it can't be just a bet, you know? Because like, eventually your skill will make the decision for you, right? If you're bad at it, it's never worth it. If you're good at it, it's always worth it, right? So there needs to be a little more nuance to the decision, right? It's really hard to really suss out. Bro, it is fucking dire. It is so fucking dire. I'm so sad. Yeah, kind of like the Ultra Kill parry from what I played. Yeah, you gotta get that. That's fair. That's fair. What's a marketing bullet point? Yeah. What do you think of Yatagarasu? It looked sick. I haven't played it though. I know it's a little hard. It's like Discord fighter status, right? It is crazy that like they did not try to translate the movement into this new one at all. It does not play like an Onimusha. Even just the fact you can like just walk around and absorb the orbs. Bro, it's crazy. Fuck yeah, dude. Onimusha 1, Genmo Onimusha is great. Genmo Onimusha Xbox is a great game. 2, I didn't finish it. I thought it was a little long and kind of weird. And 3, kind of same thing. And 4, I think most people kind of get 4 is like, eh. This, I think, is so funny because Genma is like clearly the best one. I feel like if you play that, you're kind of set. Well, in those games, you can really mash it, so that's kind of unfortunate. I think that's fair. It's just that I feel like so much game design aims at like a fantasy, and I feel like the view that like we should design for fantasy, like it is very commonly accepted and it's very it sees wide use, so I think it deserves to be challenged, right? And like personally, sometimes I mean, Bonanza, right? Perfect example. I enjoy the fantasy of like being a fucking fat monkey and like just punching the shit out of it. Yeah. But doesn't mean that it couldn't have been better, yeah. This was as a counterweight to the fantasy first perspective. That's totally fair. Yeah. Well, so if you don't know, I'm a trained game designer. I have a game design degree. I want to make my own games. I've made a couple games. I mean, the main way I would put my ideas forward is like, you know, I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna present them. I'm hoping that my ideas are convincing, and then I'm also gonna put them in my own games, like, to show them kind of in practice, and then slowly but surely, hopefully, there will be like a movement happening, right? Where, I mean, that's the reason you do this sort of shit, you know, because like you want to inspire people. Okay, that's Parry Slap. Remakes, bad. A remake can be a good game, right? Obviously. However, I said this on Blue Sky the other day. Where is it? It was like in response to... wait. Was it on Twitter? Oh, there it is. There you go. Okay, so DMC1 Remake is ruined right now. And this was my response. At this point, can we all just agree that remakes are a little more than forced creative constraints for the sake of free marketing R&D? That's literally what it is, right? You're making basically a new game. However, you're forcing it into this corset of an existing game. And you're doing that because, like, okay, the R&D is kind of a little bit done. Because, like, you have, like, the basic premise. You have the basic scenario already laid out. You have a lot of ideas for mechanics. And you have free marketing because, like, guess what? People like it. There's nothing... Like, even in the best case scenario, like something like Resident Evil 2 Remake, right? Which is clearly a way better game than Resident Evil 2 original. That is a best case scenario. However, I still feel like, God, could you not have used those same ideas, those same lessons just for a completely fresh scenario, you know? There's nothing, I mean, in this specific case, you could be like, well, the budget for RE2 Remake was like pretty low, apparently. So maybe you could make the argument that, like, okay, the only way they were able to make this specific game is by making a remake, right? But then should we argue on the basis of, like, financial fucking economic reality? No, we should argue from a creative basis, right? And from creative basis, it's like, well, why be constrained like that? You know? Why make that kind of concession for the sake of marketing? You know? Like, that is the only reason you do the remake. You know? So, yeah. Yeah. I think we're going through like the Marvel era of games, you know, where everything has to be self-referential. Everything has to be nostalgia bait. God, I don't know. And like, I mean, if you haven't seen my Star Fox rant, I'm gonna upload it tomorrow probably. I go over that in a lot of detail there, but yeah. Really? I don't know if that's true. I feel like it is pretty a lot. Like Panzer Dragoon, House of the Dead, freaking, what was the other one I was thinking of? Well, fuck it, you could just say this one. You could say, okay, Capcom's entire pipeline of games is like remakes, right? Or is like remake infested. Final Fantasy VII. You got Tango Project. I mean, Tango Project, they do good work, you know? I guess the Tango Project shit is like... Even there, I'm like, okay, like a lot of these games are like very lateral kind of steps. Like a lot of people seem to agree that, for example, Ninja Warriors or Ninja Saviors or whatever is not as good as the original. It is a good game in its own right, but it's not as good as the original. And I'm like, okay, could you not have just made a more original game instead? You know? I feel you would have gotten the same level of marketing, and you wouldn't have constrained yourself like that. You know? I don't know. Video game remakes. I mean, supposedly we're getting the Ocarina of Time thing. I mean, Last of Us Part 1, freaking Spyro, Persona 3, Yakuza. Oh my god, there is a lot. Crash. God. No, it's bad. It's bad. Excellent. I guess that's fair. Well, is it only a problem when it's most games? That's the question. I think it's like maybe in terms of ratio, it doesn't look that bad, but I think it is a lot. Yeah. Clay Obscure is a remake of Mario RPG. So true. On the Alter Beast. I would make the most cracked Alter Beast remake I think of, because I think that would be extremely funny. Oh, Halo! Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, yes. See, I'm starting. Okay, hot take. Yeah, I mean, you'll see my Star Fox rants tomorrow if you didn't see the stream 2 days ago. I'm starting to be a little more open to this, right? I'm still highly skeptical that it will be a faithful recreation of the mechanics. Yeah, what's up, Jan? However, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna give it a chance. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. Oh, Demon Souls and Silent Hill. God, there's so many. You can't tell me there isn't a fuck ton of them. Ocarina of Time will be the final boss of remakes. I mean, I expect it to be kind of like this. See, I think this will be the template. Where it's like, okay, mechanically, like a one-to-one recreation for the most part. And structurally. But like new graphics. Of course, BDS, fuck Microsoft. Don't support Microsoft, please. Don't buy their games. That is worth saying. Always, all day, every day. The Kiwamis, the fucking Kiwamis, dude. What makes a remake compromise in a way that an iterative sequel isn't? Just scenario design, I guess, is the biggest thing, yeah. Because, like, I think you have to be... I think people with a remake, they will expect you to be faithful to the scenario, right? And I'm like, well... Like, think about RE4 remake, right? If they weren't obligated to do a minecart sequence, would they not have thought of something better instead? You know? Because the minecart sequence in 4 make is not good. It's definitely, and it's not nearly as good as the originals, right? I feel like you just have, you stand way more to lose way more in that scenario. Okay, guys, I have a 3-minute ad coming up on Twitch. I'm just gonna run right now as I go through the chat. Are we counting remasters? No, I would not count remasters. Because they, I mean, see, even though I personally don't care about them, I think they fulfill a purpose. And like, okay, they make games more accessible, right? That's fine. Whereas a remake is like, okay, you're selling us a new game, but with like, just lazy fucking marketing. Okay, I'm gonna run the ad. If you don't want to see the ad, be a subscriber or go to YouTube, I guess. Okay, I'll see you in 3 minutes. And I'll go through the chat as we're in the ad. Hellscape, Max Payne 1 and 2 obviously is coming out. Oh my god. Wait. The issue is that they take a lot of space in the collective consciousness. Or collective subconscious. Well, I mean, there was a rumor that, like, Next Level Games is making the Star Fox game. And I'm like, huh. Next Level Games, you know... I would have trusted them to make an original Star Fox, you know? Wouldn't that have been really cool? I feel like... And I feel like now you're tying the success of Star Fox as a franchise to, like, okay, do people really want to play 64 again? I don't know. Oh yeah, charge unlock shot. Yeah, and it will have it, don't worry. I'd be shocked if it didn't have it. That'd be insane. See, I hate the idea that, like, you need gimmicks to sell arcadey games, right? I think Sifu probably was the best case scenario where, like, okay, the game didn't feel super polluted by the gimmicks. However, you do need a gimmick, right? You do need cutscenes, you do need, like, expanded story, all that shit. You can't just make a straight-laced, like, sub 1 hour shooter. It's just not gonna happen. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I agree. The rumor is that it won't be a 1-to-1 remake. Only reason I'm curious about. So, the rumor that I heard is that Virtuous is making it. So I'm expecting like a Snake Eater kind of situation. Where it's like, okay, mostly the same assets or like the same code and like structure and all that shit, but like a couple big changes. That's fire. I always want a faithful remix, but these days I just want them to experiment more. Like, I want cover on cards to be even more unique than the older remakes. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm not as mad as something like Code Veronica, because like, well, they have a proven track record of like making good games, right? And like, I guess Code Veronica is like, I would expect them to be much more experimental, because it's much less cemented in the public consciousness than Resident Evil 4, right? With Resident Evil 4, it's much harder to deviate from what that game lays down because people have so much love for it. With Code Veronica, it's not as much the case. I wouldn't be surprised if they take more liberties with it. So yeah. But even then, I'm like, well, you could just have that team come up with a new scenario. You know, wouldn't that be cool? What are your thoughts on the Shadow Colossus remake? Fucking bad, terrible, awful. Kill it with fire. See, Bjorn, new Star Fox or new Luigi's Mansion? Which one would you pick? Come the fuck on. Like, let's be real. See, this should be immaterial to whether a remake is a good idea or not. Cause like, why does that matter? Why are we tying sort of like these artistic ideas to the market reality, right? Why are we chaining ourselves to like what the market is dictating? I don't like the idea of like sort of being like a little lapdog and like being like, okay, I'm only gonna play games that are on Steam, you know? I'm never gonna download an emulator. I'm never gonna do anything. I mean, that's what I meant. I meant actual new Star Fox, right? My scenario was like, okay, next level games. If this is them, I would have preferred them to make new Star Fox. That's what I meant. Yeah. I think this is gonna be a 1-to-1 remake. I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy. Which, that's the thing. It's like fine. It's whatever. You know. It's like could be okay. But like still as an idea, I just find it so fucking annoying and dumb. Yeah, Stormy Soup, that's exactly it. Okay, the ads are over on Twitch. If you're still on YouTube, if you want to come back, you can come back. Yeah, Steve, that's exactly it with Sifu. Dude, Assault is fucking bad. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. It's so bad. It doesn't even have the splash damage bonus. It's so fucking bad. I talk about it in the Star Fox rant. I'm gonna upload tomorrow. Y'all are gonna see. I'm gonna see. Are the #1 pressing issue of our time that ruined my life. 64 ever. Got him. One more thing on the remake issue is that I don't really feel the impact that I've had on my gaming experience. I'm not even someone who actively watches them. I feel GK. I feel like this is very anecdotal. GK, you're a very unique individual. You're like, I think you're like the most FOMO-resistant person I've ever seen. Like you really march to the beat of your own drum. I really respect that. But like that's the thing, a lot of the series that are deep in the remake sort of swamps are like not series that you care about. I think it is sort of random coincidence. Flora, thank you for the follow. Yeah, the multiplayer is like a new game basically. That's kind of interesting. Monolith? What? Who's saying that? For Star Fox or for Zelda? For Ocarina, what the hell? I mean, my source that I heard it from, they're pretty reliable.
So please.
Justified crash out?
About the Japanese try Luigi's Mansion again. Mostly visuals. There's some gameplay differences, but like I don't really care about that much. Valence Studios, that's not a name I'm familiar with. I meddled Assault 100% so I could hate ethically. That was crazy. That's the thing. You can have a good game that's a remake. I'm not ruling it out. But even then, I'm like, I have I struggle to see where the remake part of it actually made the game better. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it is just a shortcut. Low-key. Okay. That was a long segment on remakes. Let's do this one quick. Roguelites, bad. Don't even need to explain it, right? I think it's just like, okay, this is a German screenshot, by the way. Like, you have this supposedly skill-based structure where it's about learning a mechanical, like, set of rules over time as you fail and fail and fail, right? But then you're undercutting it with meta progression, right? You're undercutting it. It's similar to our grinding thing, right? Where, okay, you've now made the difficulty ambiguous. Now I don't know anymore how the game is, like, intended to be played and what, like, the most satisfying way to play it is. And, like, I mean, this is an issue already with rogue games where, because they're so random, there can be scenarios where, like, you're like, oh my god, I don't even know if this was, like, a survival run. But, and, like, I mean, in Hades, it was grotesque. Because, like, the meta progression part of it existed to make the RNG better, right? Like, you could upgrade the amulets, and then the amulets give you better rolls in the actual run, right? And that's so insane, and I don't know why that game is popular. It is crazy, dude. Oh my god, that's so bad. Okay. I don't really see. I don't know why I put Boomer Shooters was one I was considering cutting because, like, I don't really have strong takes on it. Let's just put it in actually good or positive influence. Like, I think Boomer Shooters, they can be like, maybe should they go in harmless? I don't know. I feel like Boomer Shooters, they can be kind of a shortcut. They can be kind of like, okay, I'm gonna slap a lazy aesthetic on my game to make it, like, seem cool, you know, to the boomers. However, overall, it is like you are emphasizing positive qualities, right? You're emphasizing, okay, active engagement with the enemies, active movement. Like, by having those things baked in, I think that's why you can consider it a positive influence. I think that's fair. Valve Studios are Activision Vicarious versions, and they work with Nintendo for instance. Oh, okay. Interesting. If only Hades soon, there's so many random currencies and craft ingredients that shine and glow and, like, 100 things to do with when you die. It's like an Ouroboros of meta progression. Oh my god, that sounds awful. Using random lane patterns on a vertical scrolling rhythm game is a roguelike. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, people say there's, like, really good things about it, but, like, I didn't even want to try it. Prone to gameplay blindness at this point. Every shooter is a boomer shooter. I see what you're saying. Nostalgia bait with extra steps. I don't agree. The thing is, like I said, you can be lazy with it, but, like, even when you're lazy with it, you're inheriting a lot of positive qualities. You know, I think that's my take. Okay, final one, cozy games. I mean, low-key, we ran out of space here. So, you know what? Okay, I think I'm feeling mixed bag on it. See, what I like about cozy games is they're not violent, right? I think we need a better diversity of experiences in games. When I see people who only play combat games, like linear single-player combat games, like I'm very deep at that bubble. A lot of the people I interact with are sort of on that juice. I'm so sad for y'all. I'm like, I wish y'all could enjoy, like, Tetris or something, yeah? Or, like, a racing game, right? And cozy games are sort of the ultimate version of it, right? Where, okay, by saying we're not gonna make a game that's, like, focused on challenge or violence at all, we're doing something, like, radically kind of different with the medium. I think that is a very positive quality. However, as a thing, they've become so fucking samey. And so I guess, I mean, there was the crazy take, freaking Doc Squiddy on Twitter. I think he said like, yeah, cozy games are fascist. Wait, can I? Fascist? Like, cozy games are inherently fascist or something. And I mean, that's kind of insane. But I think there's sort of something about like, okay, these games are not designed to like challenge your assumptions. It's not art that purely exists to make you feel good, and that's like kind of, you know, like I think that deserves like some critique, and it deserves critique that like they're all so samey and like they feel a little lazy. Radical left pursuing spiritual energy. I don't like when there's a lot of cozy games that are also grind slop, right? They're also meta progression unlock slop, and that's a big fucking issue. I mean, something like Boku no Natsuyasumi, could you consider that a cozy game? I'm not sure, but that's a game I deeply respect, right? Deeply fucking respect. And even like OG Animal Crossing, you know, before it became progression slop, I feel like was very respectable. So, I don't know, there is a very respectable core in cozy games. But it has, as a trend, it's become kind of like, that's kind of my take. That's kind of where I'm at. So, yeah, I'm gonna put this here. Let me catch up with the chat. Most of these games have bad level design, the boom shooters, right? I agree with you. Yeah, that's really it. That's really it. Is it like some Italian futurism argument where it's a purely sensory appeal and not really meant to be engaged with until like I think that's kind of that's far. Blue Sun, I think that's totally fair. I think a lot of time they're not. I mean, that's the thing. I think Boku no Natsuyasumi, I don't know if I would count as a cozy game even. That's a perfect example of a game that's like, it has bite. You know, it talks about like the really, really deep issues in places. Okay, guys, that's our tier list. What do we think? What do we think? Oh my god. I love a short hike. I love that game. It's great. I think this was pretty good, right? The question is, will this get the reactions on Twitter? Dude, the fucking, my Game Critic tier list, it was like at, like, sub 2K views on YouTube. And then I doubled the views just by fucking posting on Twitter. It is crazy, dude. Game Critic tier list, yeah. It's fire. So I'll sit on this one for a little bit, and then post it and get the clicks. Put parry stop and positive and you will get the reaction. Well, I think maybe even calling it parry stop, there will be parry defenders who come out of the woodwork. Yeah. Slightly Spire works well because often the best choice is to choose not. Okay. You're actively bats here, encapsulates 90% of video games older news, so we'll get a lot of Chris and probably Twitter. Yeah. Last time I was lucky because Alan retweeted it. Honestly, this was more balanced in the end than I thought. I mean, like, obviously we had a lot of bad ones. I think that was kind of to be expected, but we got some good stuff. I think I had some. I think Friend Stop in the top tier. That's kind of hot take. Question is, will Blader respond? I'll send it to Blader personally. Oh, the Dark Souls. Wait. God, I can't type. Wait. Why is it not moving? Oh, there you go. Yeah, with Metrovania, you have to like watch the thing to understand the take, you know? I think I laid down a pretty good argument. I think my argument is very convincing. Okay, y'all. This was Hot Take Wednesday. Thank y'all so much for joining me today on this very hot Wednesday in beautiful Cologne, Germany. Yeah, man. This is gonna be me and Blader, so true. So I will be. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, with the other one, I doubled my views somehow. So, yeah. I will be back on Monday for Potential Man Monday. We will play Tetris Grandmaster 1, most likely. I will get my new arcade stick tomorrow, and then I'll play it on that. And then we'll start the grind, yeah. We'll get really cooking. Yeah. And then for next week's Hot Take Wednesday, I don't know what we'll do yet. We'll think of some. So, if you're not in the Discord yet, join the Discord. Is me. That's the Discord. It's really good. It's a good Discord. Lots of ontological game design discussion, game design obsessives. It's calmed down a little bit in the last couple of days. I think we have a pretty nice culture now. And it's always also the best way to interact with the streams, right? If you want to suggest games for me to play, if you want to suggest topics for me to talk about, I mean, this is how we did it, right? This is where I drew a lot of the ideas from for today's topic. So if you want to participate, join the Discord. Yeah, and also please consider supporting me. You see down here my list of shareholders. Shareholders means Twitch subs, YouTube members, Ko-fi members. If you're one of those three, number one, you're supporting me, you're making it possible for me to hopefully maybe eat at some point from this money. And also, you will gain access to a monthly show that I'm doing called Backlog Battle, which is a casual review show. We're talking about a bunch of fucking games that I played. If that's something you're interested in, again, do one of the three options: YouTube membership, Twitch sub, Ko-fi member. It's all the same. Ko-fi member will be preferred for me because I get the biggest cut that way, and also I get the money immediately. But also, I mean, I would like more Twitch people, to be honest with you, because like just growing on Twitch in general would be helpful for me. So yeah. And as far as I think my next scripted video will be very interesting, and it will not take as long to make as I thought. So I can't promise a date yet, but like maybe next month. Maybe next month. We'll see. Yeah, Dylan, you don't do what's most convenient for you. Do what's most convenient for you. But I guess Twitch has like the most growth potential, you know? Whereas like, okay, if you have more subs, it will definitely push you in the algo. So, okay, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for the support, and I'll see y'all around. Bye bye.